guys, welcome back to Out of the Park Baseball 22 with the Detroit Tigers. It is Friday, May 1st, 2026. I simmed ahead a month like I normally do. We are 14-11, a half game behind the Kansas City Royals. We are 7-3 in our last 10, and we will make a quick run through the stats. So you can see from a team perspective, it hasn't been great. We're 5th in runs scored, 8th in runs allowed. I can see our starting pitching staff has not been very good. Emerson Hancock has been fantastic, but otherwise all 4 of our starters have ERAs over 5. Our bullpen, it's doing okay. Ken Giles had a really rocky start. If you look at his game log, he gave up 4 runs here, and then he went 4 straight games where he gave up a run. He's unscored upon in his last 5 2/3, so hasn't even given up a hit in his last 5 2/3. So hopefully he started to settle down a bit. Marcelo Meyer's gotten off to a really hot start, but that's about it offensively. Ciani's doing okay. Torkelson's got 15 RBIs. Lou has 18, but he's only hitting 260. So it hasn't been a great start, but the fact that we're 14-11 with this start tells me we're going to be fine. I have an interesting trade set up, or almost set up right now, with the Baltimore Orioles. So I'm going to see right off the bat here if we can make this work. So they are willing to part with Grayson Rodriguez, who's a 26-year-old who's out for the next 6 weeks with a sprained ankle. But he's arbitration eligible. He's got good pitching ratings, 4 good pitches. And I'm looking to move on from Skubal. So we're not quite there yet. You can see the offer isn't good enough, but they think we're close. They are asking for players that I'm not really crazy about giving up. So this is something I'm going to continue to sort of plug away at here over the next few weeks and see if maybe I can make something work here. Because I don't know, Skubal's ratings have dropped a bit as well. So especially with what he's asking for now, I don't know that he's going to be back next season. But so just keep an eye out for that. So we're going to sim ahead to June 11th like we normally do. Get up to, actually no, we're probably going to go to July 1st. That's what we're going to do here. We're going to go up to July 1st. So let's sim ahead a bit. It's Friday, May 1st. Let's sim ahead to like the 15th. It'll probably stop before that as we get injuries or whatever, but let's sim ahead and see what happens. When we get to the end of June, we'll pause and we'll kind of recap where we are. Great. I put in a scouting request on this guy for some reason. I don't know why, but I did. So let's go up to the 15th. So we've moved into first place, 15-11. Good. We lose there. But we remain in first place. Oh, Kansas City jumps back above us there. So yeah, we haven't been as good this season. I kind of expected that based on the moves that we've made, although we've won a few in a row, 4 in a row here before we lost. I was kind of expecting that here this year to maybe this would be a step backwards, that 100 wins might not necessarily be in the equation this year. Just because, we had to move on from Flaherty, who was one of our best pitchers. And so, yeah, we're 21-17 right now. We're a game out of first place. And we're continuing to sort of just, I don't know what the right term is, stumble along, I guess. We lost 5-3 and 10-2. We're 4th in runs scored, 9th in runs against. Yeah, our pitching staff is not getting it done. Skubal is just having an absolute nightmare of a season. He's unhappy. It looks like Abel and Sanders have picked it up here a bit. But yeah, our pitching staff, man, they're not having a good year. Cory Collins is really struggling with the bat. I'm not really sure what to do. I would like to make that move for Grayson Rodriguez, although he's still hurt. I guess let's go back and look. Trade block. Trade. Initiate trade. Let's go back to Baltimore. All right. So is it still those same? Yeah. Collier, Green, Manning, and Walker. 4 players I'm not prepared to give up. I mean, Walker was just a Rule 5 guy, but he's got some power in his bat, so I don't know that I necessarily want to move on from him just yet. Is there anybody else that I can add that would move the needle? Dutton? Yeah, it doesn't move the needle at all. Okay. Green is injured. Wonderful. Baylog, I don't want to move on from. Let's look here. Jeff Foster looks. I don't know. He's okay. I mean, what about Jeff Foster? I really don't want to move on from Walker, but I'm sort of feeling like that's the right move to make. And I want to pull the trigger before Scubal's ratings drop. That's my concern, is that, I mean, what happens if I eat his contract this year? Does that... Walker, Mize, Meadows, Hancock, Green. Yeah, again, and players I don't want to move. Maybe we do this. Maybe we give them Manning. Manning can't really stay healthy. Two-year-old reliever, sure. Can I pull anybody back after doing that? I don't really care about Clow, now that I think about it. So we're giving up Scubal and Manning. Scubal we're not going to re-sign. Manning is fragile. He's out for another 2 to 3 weeks. His ratings are okay. I mean, he's got 3 good pitches. Rodriguez, normal injury proneness. I mean, their ratings are actually pretty similar, Manning and Rodriguez. But Manning is 28, Rodriguez is 26. Rodriguez is making less. He's still ARB eligible. I feel like this is a trade I want to make. So I'm just going to pull the trigger. And fans aren't going to like it. And that's a problem. Actually, let's look at that. So he's well known. Scubal is popular locally. Same thing with Manning. It may end up evening out. So I'm going to pull the trigger. So noticeable, slightly. Okay, so that doesn't even out. So we're going to be somewhere in the, we're at 50 right now. We have to lower our ticket prices. We just have to. We got to get people back into the stands. And we got to play better in order to do that. And right now we're not playing well. So, injury list, we'll put Meadows. Oh, Meadows already on the injury list. Who am I looking for? I'm looking for this. Grayson Rodriguez is out for 4 weeks, so we'll put him there. And we need to call up a pitcher. We'll call up Shriver. And Adam Hill can go into the starting rotation. So, we move on from Tariq Scubal. Not crazy about it, but... we needed to do it. We weren't going to re-sign him. His ratings were starting to drop, and frankly, he was pitching really poorly. So if we look at our pitcher war at this point, we can pause and kind of take a look at things. So Will Sanders leads the way, 1.3 WAR. He's 3-3, 44 strikeouts in 42 innings. That ERA is starting to come down. Really nice FIP. Not giving up any home runs, so I like what I'm seeing out of Will Sanders right now. Emerson Hancock, 3-1 with a 3.19. He's been as advertised. Casey Mize is getting better. Coming back off injury, it's not a surprise that it took him a little while to get used to things, but his last 2 starts have been really, really good, so optimistic there. Raymels Rosa is having a nice season. Mcneil doing a nice job his first season with us. Walks are a bit high. 4 walks per 9. I'm not crazy about that. Would like to see that come down some. But otherwise, he's pitching well. So far, only Eater and Giles are struggling. And Giles, again, a lot of that was born out of his first few outings. He's been really solid since the 19th. You can see That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and his last 12 and 2/3 innings. He's given up 2 hits and 1 run. So he's been much better as of late. Lineups. This is where I'm a little disappointed. Our offense is just not getting it done so far. You can see we got Ball, Pinongo, and Collins are all negative WAR players. Marcelo Meyer and Torkelson have both been really, really good. Lou looks like he's starting to come around a little bit, up to 272, 405. Jung-Hoo Lee's starting to hit. Ciani's okay. Edman's been pretty good. That on-base percentage is a little lower than I would have anticipated for somebody with a 50 I and a 75 avoid K. But we'll continue to bat him leadoff and just sort of see what happens. But yeah, this is a problem. Cartaya is hitting the cover off the ball right now, so it's making up for Collins' struggles. Yeah, we got a few players that are hitting the ball really well, and then we have some that just are doing poorly. So we are a game out of first place. We don't have any money. Yeah, and we have money to spend this season if we need to pick somebody up, but nothing going forward. Yeah, Grayson Rodriguez only wants 1.7 next year, which is good. That'll be a pretty cheap contract, I'm hoping. Torkelson and Meadows, those numbers are jumping. That's going to be a big concern cost-wise, but, that's next year. We'll cross that bridge. Hopefully we can win this year and it won't matter. So let's go to the end of the month. And see where we are come June 1st. Still a game behind Kansas City. We're now tied with Kansas City. And we win again. So we're 26 and 17. So that's a good stretch of baseball right there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 wins in a row, including a 12-0 victory. Those are the ones you like to see. Lou with 4 RBIs. Casey Mize goes 6 2/3, striking out 10. Yeah, so good. Some really good pitching performances in there. Offense had a couple of solid games, a 12-run game, a 9-run game. Yeah, that's our best stretch of baseball this year. Collins still isn't hitting, so I think it's time to get Cartaya out there a little bit more frequently. Quintana backed up at short. Ciani is out with a sore hamstring. How long until we get Meadows back? 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. Yeah, so our pitching has started to come around. Adam Hill, really nice first start. Sanders, Abel, they're all pitching much, much better. I got to get Schreier in there, I guess, as a long reliever. Yeah. We're going to have to add a piece to our bullpen, I think. Our bullpen's not good enough to get it done. So let's quickly look. And I don't normally make a lot of trades this early in the season, but we got a couple of young or cheap pitchers here that are on the trade block. Karinchak is on there again. Do we just bring him back? He was really good for us. Oh, they don't want to give him up yet. Okay, it's fine. Or they don't want to give him up for anything we have. We'll keep an eye out. I think we're doing okay. Things have started to turn around a little bit. Our starting pitching's been really good over the last week and a half or so. Offensively, we're up to second in run scored, so our offense is coming around. Not hitting for a lot of power, but the offense is starting to come around. Let's keep going. Let's go to June 1st. or 28-18 as we move into first. And Kansas City comes right back and ties it. So we're in a bit of a dogfight here with the Royals in the AL Central this season. We had normally been blowing teams out, winning. I think last year we won by 17 games. So Kansas City's hanging around. We're a game and a half up at 32-20. So we're back to where we had been in terms of our position in the American League. We're a half game behind Houston for the best record in the American League. You can see Spencer Torkelson leads the league in RBIs. All right, so Torkelson is the batter of the month. We finish up June. If we look at... That's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. We were 19-9 in May after going 14-11 in April. Second in batting, seventh in pitching. So our pitching's starting to come around. Let's look at emails. Player development for the month of May. Abel got a little worse. That's okay. Cory Collins got a little better. Looks like his batting started. Yeah, he's up to 254. Wow. Look at that streak for Cory Collins. Wow. He was at 171 on 522. A week later, he's up to 254 with a 750 OPS. He had 7 RBIs in this game. So Cory Collins has come around for us. Diego Cartaya got better. Tommy Edman got a little better, a little worse in other places. Meyer got better. Jordan Walker got better. If we go to Elijah Green, he's out for 3 more weeks. Yeah, his ratings are starting to dip a little bit. The contact gap power and home run power. He'll still be up next season, but yeah, I was expecting his home run power to be a little bit more than that. I was expecting him to be closer to that. So hopefully OSA is right and we're wrong. Mike Beale is up to 2 stars. So let's call him up to AAA. Excuse me. Cam Collier, 242, 321, 434. So he's hitting okay in AA so far, but we'll leave him there. Batter of the month, Spencer Torkelson, 11 home runs. He drove in 32 runs in the month of May. He's hitting 297. AL pitcher of the month, Franklin Guzman. Bryce Harper wins the AL batter of the month. Albert Abreu is May's top pitcher. Guzman is the rookie of the month, and Abreu is the rookie of the month in the National League. So, yeah, I mean, we scored a lot of runs in that series. 3 for 4 with 7 RBIs for Collins. Our bullpen's coming around. Bullpen is coming around. It's June 1st. We're 2.5 games up. Lou is back on track. He's up to 337. 11 home runs, 39 RBIs. He's on pace for almost a 10-win season. Let's review before we move forward, see what we need. So Sanders is up to 1.9 WAR, Hancock at 1.3, Mize at 1.3, Hancock's at 1.6. So our top 3 starting pitchers are all doing a really nice job. Sanders, Hancock, and Mize. Abel is doing fine as our number 4, frankly. Still walking too many batters, but that has dropped. It's down to 3.5. Yeah, I mean, his opponent's batting average is a bit high. His FIP is right in line. So, I mean, your 4th starter with an ERA of 4.3 is fine. Adam Hill doing a nice job as our number 5 starter. Rosa continues to pitch well. Giles sees that WAR start to increase. Yeah, he's been really good as of May. 12 games, 16 innings, 25 strikeouts, only 3 runs. So, yeah, he's back to where he was a year ago. Cleonel Perez, ERA's high, but again, he's only pitched 15 innings, so he must have had a rough outing. Yeah, his BABIP's 452. Shriver's not doing all that hot, and Eder is struggling. I was expecting more out of him. This is a bit surprising. So I do think we are going to need to add to the pitching staff here. Offensively, we're doing just fine. Our top 4 hitters are just absolutely mashing. Lou, Torkelson, Meyer, and Lee. All good for over a WAR. Brigman is bringing up the rear at -0.7 WAR. Tommy Edman, I'm really surprised that he's not hitting higher than 250 with that contact. That's fine. We'll leave him where he is. Pinango, 254. Yeah, he's another one. I expected a higher on-base percentage. So picking up an outfielder might be something we have to consider. Jordan Walker, again, I just want him to develop, so we'll leave him on the big league roster, and we'll just, whatever happens, happens. Quintana's not really getting any playing time, which is kind of weird, so we'll back him up at second and short. Front office, we still have no money. People are still not coming out. We're only drawing 30. We're drawing 7,000 fewer people this year, even though we're coming off back-to-back 100-win seasons. So, go figure. Go figure. Oh, excuse me. Any other minor leaguers we want to look at? Caranto's not hitting. Mako's getting smoked. So, yeah, our minor leaguers are struggling at the moment. Hopefully they can come around here. Let's go back to the trade block. I would see you got Eloy Jimenez on there, Jeff Mcneil on there, Buddy Reed. Jeff Mcneil might not be a bad. He's making $16 million, though. I mean, Cleveland's going to have to eat that contract in order for me to retain him. So they want Hancock or Lou. Okay, well, that's not happening. He would fit nicely into our lineup. Vince Fernandez, no. Josh Naylor, no. Excuse me. Jesse Winker's making too much money. All right, let's look at pitchers. Excuse me. Trevor Stephan with the Yankees. He wants to be in the starting rotation. Are the Yankees interested in actually trading him? They are. Okay. So we could pick up Trevor Stephan here. He's a fly ball pitcher, but he's actually pitching better than most of the pitchers on our big league roster. So Taylor Rogers is only going to make it through this year. His ratings plummeted after we signed him. He's pitching well, but in a really restricted role against lefties. So, all right, let's look at AAA. Who could we send them from AAA? Mason Hazelwood. Let's try that. They want time to think about it. Okay. All right, so let's sim ahead. We'll get up to the draft pool announcement. Take a look at who the drafts are, or who the draftees are, I guess. Yeah, they want players I'm not prepared to give up. So we're gonna hold. Ooh, that's a rough game. 19-2. All right, well, that's a tough game. Let's sim ahead to the draft pool announcement. Hopefully, as I punch my computer, hopefully we can continue to play well here leading up to the draft pool. We get Parker Meadows back, which is nice. We're going to send Brigman down. Let's get Meadows back into our lineup. Get him back at the top of the order. Move him down, move him down, move him down. That puts Ciani back as our backup outfielder, which is perfect. Or do I want Ciani starting? He's not really hitting, so. Meadows for Ciani. We'll let oh, no, he's actually not as good against lefties. That's weird. All right, we're going to leave it like that. We're going to let Edmund bat lead off against lefties, and Meadows will bat lead off against righties. So we put him back in the lineup there. Our second baseman is Edmund. And then against righties, Parker Meadows and Tommy Edmund. All right, now we'll keep going. 4 games up on Kansas City. We're starting to stretch that lead out here a tad. Same thing happened last year, right? We got off to, I don't want to say a slow start, but a slower start, and we ended up running away with it. So Grayson Rodriguez, sprained ankle, still not ready to return. That's fine. We are 36-24. That leads down to 3. So as soon as I said we were starting to expand it, we lost a couple games in a row. It's down to 2. And these are all divisional games. We lost a bunch of games. Man, what was that, 5 in a row? 4 out of 5, and not good pitching in any of those games. So we are one game up on Kansas City in the Central. We're 36-26. Our pitching staff has been atrocious, top to bottom at this point. Casey Mize is getting smoked now. Emerson Hancock hasn't pitched well. Hill's been okay. Will Sanders is really the only pitcher who's pitching moderately well for us. Our bullpen has been terrible. We need to do something about our bullpen. Let's look at the draft pool real quick, and then we will readdress the bullpen. So we are picking... Where are we picking? 31st. And they're having us take Nate Savine. And he looks pretty good. I don't suspect that he'll fall to us. I mean, there are a couple of good hitters here. Eric Frank, he's pretty good. He won't make it to us. But, yeah, I mean, there's 3 or 4 good hitters here. Pitching looks to be pretty sharp again. Yeah, there's some really good starters in this draft. None of them are going to fall to us. Wow. Look at all these 5-star starters. Look at all these starters, man. Wow, that's crazy. If these ratings are accurate, there are a ton of great starters in this draft. So we should be able to get something here. Should be able to definitely get something out of our starters. So we need to do something about our bullpen, and we need to do something about our bullpen now. But we have to find somebody who's not making a lot of money. That's the catch here. This was the one I wanted, was Trevor Stephan. All right, well, looks like they've lowered their demands here a little bit, so maybe that means we can get something done. Let's sim ahead. I mean, they want to think about it, so yeah, almost. Okay, so they don't really want him. Okay, so we went 8-4-10 there. Good start by Hill. Perez picks up the win. Homers from Collins, Meyer, and Ball. All right, so let's look at prospects. And I don't want to give up an elite prospect for this guy. He's literally just a guy. He's just a reliever. Decent ratings, better than anything we have. So I'm not giving up anything of real substance for him. We drafted him last season. How about Eric Mcneil? It just doesn't move the needle. It's weird. He wants one of our top players, and I'm not. I mean, I guess I would give up Foster. Will you give us anybody else? Will you give us another bullpen arm? Perfect. So Trevin Stephan and Furman Hased from the Yankees for Cole Russo and Jeff Foster. Cool. So we get 2 pitchers to immediately make our bullpen better. Shriver's going to go down. He's out of options. Fine. I will designate. Call up Stephan. And then who is our next worst pitcher? Jake Eater, but it's only in 14 innings. Zach Hess. Well, Hess can't be our closer anymore. That's pretty clear. Eater, Perez, De Los Santos. I don't think I can send him down. He's a Rule 5 guy, right? Yeah. Perez is not... It's going to be Eater. It's going to be Eater for now. And we'll see if that helps. So let's do this. We're just going to go to conventional stopper with Ken Giles. We're going to make Stephan a setup along with Perez. Hess can be middle relief. Hased is going to be middle relief, so let's see what that does. Giles, Perez, Stephan, Hased. Yeah, that looks fine. Hopefully that improves our pitching staff. We pick up 2 bullpen pieces that were better than what we had. And we can continue to sim ahead here a bit. And I think this is what we're going to run with until July. In July, we might make some additional moves to try to shore up our offense, but I think that's where we're going to start from a pitching perspective. So let's keep moving. Marcelo Meyer's out for 4 to 5 weeks. That's probably the worst possible injury that could have hit us. Because that means Nick Quintana becomes our starting shortstop, and he's not good. So that was bad. That was bad. So we'll let Brigman play shortstop against lefties, but we'll bat him way down in the lineup. Crap. So, all right. Well, let's keep going. 37-27. We're still a game up. We had a 5-game lead about a week and a half ago. That has gone in the wrong direction. We're now no longer in. We're tied for first place with Kansas City. We finally win a game. So it's the 15th. We're tied for first with Kansas City. Hased got smoked in his first game. Stefan hasn't pitched for us yet. I mean, I don't want to fire our pitching coach, although he's gotten progressively worse here. So let's take a look. Maybe it's time to move on from our pitching coach. But let's look at our personnel first. Actually, I want to go here. So basically, we want someone who's personable, who gets along with personable people. Got it. All right, so we want a personable pitching coach. So let's sort by personality. All right. So Scott Aldred, we just need free agents. All right, so Rigo Beltran. He doesn't get along with any of our pitchers, but he would have been perfect. Rick Adair. Not going to get along with all of our pitchers. I'm looking for a pitcher who's personable, who gets along with personable, or at least who doesn't have a negative attribute with personal, who also has decent relationships. So far, I'm not finding anybody who has decent relationships. Matt Blake. He would be better. I don't know that he'd be better than what we have, but he's better than most of the players I've looked at. Carlos Barroquez, no. Cameron Castro. He's not bad. He gets along. Well, I need someone who gets along with Hancock. That's kind of the issue. Tony Kugule. Nope. Tig Dickinson. Nope. And we'll go and we'll look at our own pitching coaches here in a minute. Robert Ellis. I think this is the one. I think we're going to hire Robert Ellis. He is personable, gets along well with personable, excellent teaching, pitching. So we're going to offer him a contract. Brian Conger is going to get fired, and we're going to sim ahead a week. See if that makes any difference. Grayson Rodriguez is eligible to come off the DL. That's huge. So who gets sent down? I think we DFA Rogers at this point. It's going to cost us like $3 million or something, but it's money we've already spent. So, all right, Grayson Rodriguez, and we put him immediately in the rotation. Adam Hill will go back to middle relief. I mean, he didn't pitch poorly. Had a couple of bad starts, but overall didn't pitch poorly. All right, so let's see how Grayson Rodriguez does today. We lose 10-8. He went the first 4. We're a game out of first. Another loss. This time we give up 13 runs. We're 39-30, a game out of first place, a game and a half out of first place now. As we lose again. Oh, boy. Okay. 39-32. We're 2.5 out. We still have the wild card. Casey Mize is out for 4 days. Game and a half back. Our pitching staff has absolutely been atrocious. Both pitching, both starting and relief. Our offense is keeping us in it. Frankly, we have the highest scoring offense in baseball. Our pitching staff has been terrible, which is a bit of a surprise, frankly. Elijah Green is back. Is he getting anywhere close to ready? No. Man, I need him to be ready now. All right, let's sim ahead. Another week. It gets us to the 29th. Then we can sort of pause and take a look at things. All right, so is that back-to-back? Okay, so that's 3 wins in a row. Okay, 3 wins in a row with 2 decent starts. Rodriguez went 6 2/3, 1 run. Torkelson hit his 17th home run. Hill and Giles pitched well. And then we get back-to-back solid performances. Nice start from Abel. No earned runs in 7 2/3. Torkelson hit his 18th home run. So who's out? That's Ciani. He's out indefinitely, so we should probably stick him on the injured list. And losing Marcelo Meyer was a kick in the junk for sure. We're going to call up Braylon Bishop. No, we're going to call up Daz Cameron. And we will set up our depth charts. Okay, so let's get up to the 29th. Hopefully we don't suffer any more injuries in that time. Taylor Rogers refuses to be demoted. If I release him, we'll pay $1.9 million. That's fine. He can go away. Let's go to next week. We're tied for first. Half a game back now. Okay, so we win again. So we're on a bit of a hot streak here. That's 6 wins in a row. I think that's 6 wins in a row. Did we win every game that month? Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins in a row, all with some good pitching performances as well as some good offense. Lou 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Sanders went the first 5, struck out 10. Hess and Giles pitched 4 solid innings. Then we come back with a 7-2 win. Casey Mize gets the win, improves to 6-3. Quintana and Meadows homer. Then a 12-1 blowout. 6 RBIs for Ball, 4 for Collins, who's had just a tremendous turnaround to his season. Hancock, 6-4, picks up his 6th win, strikes out 9. And then an 8-4 win, as I say, Rodriguez started his 5 2/3, 5 hits, 2 runs, 3 strikeouts. Rosa struggled, but Hassed came in and pitched really well. So he settled down a bit after a rough start. Lou with his 20th, Ball with his 13th, Edmund with his 10th. So he's come along. He's come along too. 800 OPS. It's exactly what we needed to see. All right. So it is Monday the 29th. We are in first place by a game and a half. So we've won 7 games in a row. Anything we need to take a look at? Jose Abreu with his 2000th hit. We know about Meyer being out for 6 weeks. I'm considering moving on from Meadows. He just gets hurt so much. And next season, we'll likely stick Elijah Green in his position. With what he's making next season, Parker Meadows is somebody that could generate a bunch of value if Green can really step up this season in his development. We can stick him in center field next year, and he'll be just fine. So I'm considering moving on from Meadows at the end of the year. I'm just curious what that trade block looks like for him right now. Okay, so a bunch of 3-star players, 4-star potential relievers. Okay, so there's probably a deal to be made here, a deal to be had. I don't necessarily want to make us worse this season, so I don't know that I'm going to pull the trigger during the season. Quinn Priester, whew, he's making 8.3 an ARB. Yeah, he's a really solid pitcher, but with what he's making, I don't know that's a sideways move for us. So if I'm going to trade him, it's going to be for somebody who's not making $8 million a year, because that's something I need to keep in mind. Nate Pearson is so good. This might be a move that I make. He's fragile, though. His contract jumps to $20 million now. If his contract didn't go to $20 million, that would be a move I would consider, but not for what he's being made. Not for what he's making. So, all right. So we're going to sim ahead a couple of days here, but let's take a look really quickly and just see if there's anything we want to tweak right now, or if we want to save it for. Is there anybody who's just so bad offensively or pitching-wise that we just need to get him out of there? Penango is by far our worst hitter, so a left fielder is something that we may want to look into. Ball has come around. He's up to a 788 OPS, which is almost in line with what he did last season, so it looks like he's come along nicely. Cory Collins, man, just an amazing, just an amazing 2 months. 9 home runs, 35 RBIs his last 2 months. He's settled in nicely. Lou continues to he's on pace for over 10 wins. Torkelson, we're not going to have the money to pay Spencer Torkelson, but he's going to have 3 consecutive 3,100 seasons. Jung-Hoo Lee is hitting the ball. He's good on pace for 3.5 WAR, 20 home runs. Tommy Edman, we talked about. Parker Meadows, again, a lot of his value is derived from his defense. Cartaya is not hitting quite as well, but again, that's being counteracted by Cory Collins, who is. Jordan Walker still isn't hitting, but him being on this team isn't about this year. It's about next season. Penango and Bregman, neither of them are hitting. From a pitching perspective, Sanders is having his best season by far. He's on pace for a 5-win season. Emerson Hancock is having a good first year with us. ERA at 3.95, on pace to win 12 games. McAble's ERA is at 6, but that's down. His last start, he pitched 7 innings of 2-run baseball. Those last 4 starts, though, oh boy. Yeah, his ratings dropped as well, too. Pretty substantially, actually. So that's a bit concerning. Grayson Rodriguez has had 3 really nice starts for us. 16 1/3 innings, 2.76 ERA. Casey Mize has been fine. Hasn't been great, but he's been fine. And our bullpen is starting to come around. Hess hasn't been very good. Stefan has only pitched 1 game for us. Ken Giles has been, he was okay. Last month wasn't great, but 47 strikeouts. I mean, he's not going to, you look at his numbers from last year. He walked 10, struck out 129 in 89 innings. He's already walked 10 in 36 innings this year, so he's not having the same year. Most of our pitchers aren't having the same year, but it seems like that pitching change helped. It seems like that pitching change worked, as we are, the pitching has been better over the last few weeks. So really, I think left field, and if we can pick up another cheap bullpen arm as we get closer to the deadline. I mean, I'd love to bring Karinchak back, but okay. So now they're not asking for much. So can we make a deal for James Karinchak? I'm thinking about trying to solidify the starting rotation too, so that's why I'm scrolling here. Okay, so they want Ball or Hancock. But just for Karinchak, I could get him without giving up a ton. I don't want to do that right now. Let's look at offense. Let's look at batters. What do we got? So Cisco, Alonso, Anderson. Jeff McNeil is really the target. But they're going to have to eat some of that contract. I just simply can't afford the $16 million or whatever that he's making. So let's try it again with Cleveland. Okay, so they want basically one of my best players, which I'm not prepared to do. What if we started with Eric Mcentire? I think this is what we did initially. Okay, so we can afford his contract. Is part of his contract being taken by somebody else? Yeah, it is. Okay. All right. So it says I'll give you an answer. I'll submit it. You know, they're going to ask for one of my best players, I think, but we'll see. I wouldn't mind picking up Mcneil and sticking him in left field. Yeah, they want one of my best players, and I'm not prepared to do that, but I am prepared to discuss this. Cleveland, Jeff McNeil. So we started with Mcentire. What else can we add? That's the guy we picked up in the draft or in the trade last year. Castillo doesn't move that needle. That moves it a little bit, but again, it's going to force us to give up one of our main pieces. I'm not ready to give up Perez. Jamie Patterson? Nope. Chance Mako moves the needle. Ball, Collins, Eater. Again, players I'm not prepared to give up. And I don't really want to give up Mako, but I feel like, you know, we're at that point where it's okay to start to move on from some of these players that maybe don't have a future. Like, do we move Ciani and just call up Braylon Bishop? I mean, they're basically the same player, right? I mean, they are essentially the same player. Compare him to Ciani. Ciani's 2.5 star, 2.5 star. Bishop is a little bit younger, still has some growth opportunity. Contact is almost identical. Or if we look at potential, Bishop is better. Right now, Ciani is a little bit better with the bat. Potentially, Bishop is better overall. He's a better base runner. Defensively, right now, Ciani is better, but I think that could change. He's better with the outfield error. He's got a better range and a better arm. I think we do this. Move. Okay, you have to have Mako. So Pete Lavin likes this deal. And what this would do for us is it improves our outfield without negatively impacting our big league roster. We give up Eric Mcentire, who's doubtful that he's ever going to make it, that the positional rating is terrible. His offensive ratings aren't very good. Chance Mako is the one that I'm not crazy about giving up, but he hasn't pitched well, frankly. We drafted him in the 3rd round, and he hasn't saved 2023 when he pitched 5 games in rookie ball. He has not pitched well. Over 40 starts, he's 6-24 with an ERA north of 6. Juan Cordero, who was just a minor leaguer, a 23-year-old reliever. And then Michael Ciani's the only big league piece we pick up here. Ciani's been fine this year, but he was a negative WAR player each of the last 2 years. So I think this is an okay deal. And in return, we get Jeff McNeil, who is going to immediately lengthen our offense. Defensively, he's not as good, but we'll have a good backup outfielder to come in and play late inning defense. So I feel like I really don't want to get. And Mako's the one piece I don't want to give up. Everybody from here up is untouchable. Can I make this work some other way? Do you want Josh Curtis? I have to give up Mako. Okay, all right. I give up Mako. I'll keep Curtis. Will you eat his contract? No. Okay. Trying to see if I can drop this down to a place where they'll take a 1-star player or they just say, okay. Yeah. Fine. You can eat 5% of it. You can eat 820 grand. All right. So we're going to make this deal. We're going to pick up Jeff McNeil from the Indians for 3 minor leaguers and Michael Ciani. Fan interest is significant. That's nice to see. And I think for the time being, yeah, Cameron's going to go back down. Sorry, Daz. We'll bring up Jeff McNeil. And let's adjust the lineup here. So McNeil will immediately come in and play left field. We're going to move him up in the lineup as well. I mean, we're really left-handed, but that's fine. I think we'll do something like that against righties. That's fine. It puts Pinango in, and once we get no, I think that's fine. That's fine. And once we get to roster, Pinango is actually a bit better defensively than McNeil is, but McNeil's the better bat. So against righties here, we're going to stick McNeil in left. And Quintana in at short. Against lefties, McNeil, and he's still a pretty good hitter against lefties, but we have Walker playing left field. That's right. Against lefties. How's he doing? I mean, his bat is better against lefties, so we'll just stick with that. And Quintana in at short. And then that one's set. And then here, we'll stick with Walker in left against lefties. I think the bat plays well enough, and if we make him a left fielder, yeah, his range isn't great, but he's got a good arm. So, I mean, left field is fine, I think, for him. Okay. So those are all the deals we're going to make in this episode. I don't normally make a ton of trades in this sort of in-between episode, but I felt it was necessary this year. We needed to save some money, and we were struggling a bit. So let's play the June 30th game. We have a half-game lead over Kansas City. We're 46-33 as we play our final game of this episode. Excuse me. And we finish June 47-33. We are in first place. International signings. Let's just quickly glance at those. We got a Rogers. There's our pick right there. Roger Cedeno. Roger Castro. We'll be throwing a bunch of money at him. Player development for July. Stefan got better. Rodriguez got better. Mize got better. Hancock got a little worse. Giles got a little worse. Abel, we talked about him getting worse already. That one's a bit concerning, but we'll be okay. Lou got a little... It looks like everybody got a tiny bit worse. Sproat got better down in AAA, which is nice. Beale got better in AAA. He's been lights out. We might call him up. If that stuff continues to develop, he looks to be pretty solid. Bishop got better. Cam Collier got better, back up to 3.5 stars, only hitting .215, but he struggled out of the gate in high A ball last year too, so we'll just leave him and let him continue to develop. Balog got better. He needs to not be in rookie ball. He needs to be in A ball. Jerry Howard still hasn't learned the catcher position. Hope he does soon here, as he's got good ability and good arm. Best bat goes to Royce Lewis. In the National League, it's Milwaukee's Juan Soto. Herman Marquez, Cleveland Pitcher of the Month. Kyle Luckham of the Mets wins the NL Pitcher of the Month. Sean Fuller, AL Rookie of the Month. And in the National League, it's George Klassen. So we win the final game 7-6. Who got the start? Sanders went the first 6, gave up 4 runs. Giles gave up a couple runs. Perez came in, picked up the save. Lee homered. Meadows homered. Yeah, Meadows is somebody I'm probably going to look to move in the offseason so we can free up money to bring back Spencer, who is on pace for 36 and 134. Mcneil 2 hits in his first game. Cool. So we finish June 47 and 33. We are a game and a half up on Kansas City. Elijah Green is up to 278 now in AAA. At bat starting to come around. If you get that contact up to 45 or so by the start of next year, and the power up somewhere in the 50s, he'll be our starting center fielder because the speed in the glove will, I think, carry him. I think he's not going to be as good a hitter as we thought, but I think defensively and with his legs, he can make an impact. Yeah, so that is where we are. Next episode will be the July episode. It'll be international signing. It'll be the draft. It'll be the trade deadline. So let me know what you thought of the moves that we made. It looks like this year is going to be a little bit more challenging than the past two when we were running away with it at this point. We got Kansas City nipping on our heels, the Royals being a general nuisance. But we are still currently in first place, a position we've held.